I know I'm hearing a song in my head, and it's not necessarily that I would want this song to be the song that goes with this show exactly because I'm really big on words and the power of them, and the energy they hold. But I'm hearing Kelly Clarkson in my head right now. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I know, right? But I mean, I've had those moments, right? You've had those moments. And it can be as simplistic as you're at a family event, right? I mean, everybody can probably relate to that. And there's just that one space where somebody says something or does something, and you're just like, in a sense, coming out of your skin, or you're uncomfortable, or you just wish you were somewhere else. Or maybe it's work related or whatever. It doesn't matter. You feel the space. And I know that's a big part of the growth of us, as we're having the experiences. We have feelings. We have emotions. We're human body, human being, right? So a big part of setting boundaries is, I believe, also learning how to navigate the feelings that are coming up as you're having the space that is saying, we've got to set a boundary.
This is a space of discovery. This is a space of remembrance. Join A.L. Garris and welcome to this space.
Hello, and welcome to the A.L. Garris space. I'm so excited to be this space with you. And you may be familiar with me and my content in other spaces, but in this space, we're going to be doing something totally new, format-wise. This is going to be a podcast format space. So we're going to talk about all different types of topics, and we're going to take them deeper. So we're going to dive in deeper to all of these incredible spaces of us. So I'm excited to be this space with you. And in my mind, what I'm doing right now is I'm seeing you sitting directly across from me, and we're having an incredible conscious conversation. So thank you for coming into the space and for sharing it with me. Today, I'd like to talk about boundaries. That's a really big one, right? And there's so many different ways to look at boundaries, but there are some spaces, some points of reference we could do that are extremely beneficial and extremely important. So if you have ever been in a situation in which you realize it's not optimal, it's just not the best relationship, it's not the best, most balanced space for you, whether it's job related, or whether it's partner, friend, child, parent, whatever, it doesn't really matter, But you realize it's just not everything it needs to be for you. Boundaries are very important. One of the biggest things that I hear people say, and I work with people from all over the world, all different backgrounds, ages, belief structures, but one of the biggest things I hear people say is they get a little bit nervous, or they have a bit of a difficulty with setting boundaries because they feel as if they're being unloving. And that by putting a boundary in, or placing a boundary into the relationship in whatever way they feel they need to, that somehow they have taken something away from the other person, and they kind of get in their head or their heart even about in a sense of blaming themselves, that they're not giving enough, or that something's off with them, right? And that's a total natural space, natural emotion, natural mindset to navigate, but it doesn't have to be a space, a mindset, or even a feeling and an emotion that you stay in. It's okay to have the thought. It's okay to navigate it and experience it, and then allow yourself, if you choose to, allow yourself to decide if that is authentic, is if that is really what's best for you. You get to be on the list too. Have you ever heard that before? How people make a list every day of what they're going to do, And a lot of times the list never has you on it. It has everybody else on it, all the people and places and things. But it needs to have you. It's okay to have you on your list. You should have you on your list. And I would say, and I've learned this from my own self, from my own life, you need to be the top of your list. Okay? If you come in on the bottom, that's okay. Start there, work your way up. I get it. But eventually, have the aspiration and the goal, if you will, to get to the top of your own list, because you deserve to be there. And by being on the top of your own list, it's easier to set boundaries as well, because you realize you need to be doing it first and foremost for you, for what's best for you. And inevitably then, because you're coming from love, self-worth, right? Inevitably then, it's going to move, vibrate out, flow out, if you will, to all the spaces of you in your life. So those relationships that need that boundary to be set for them, they're going to actually be healthier because you set the boundary. They're actually going to have the opportunity to be in a greater alignment of love because you set the boundary. So that's a really big one. And I know that's a really, some people say, well, what if I lose the relationship because I set the boundary? Then ultimately, in my humble opinion, yes, that is the best thing for you, and that is the best thing for them, whoever the them is, To be in a relationship without boundaries that is difficult for you, it is not making it better for them. I know that can be weird, and it's kind of difficult to cross those paths, those bridges, those spaces sometimes, but have you ever heard about the term like enabling? That's a really big thing that happens when we don't set boundaries, and we need to. We actually think, a part of us feels as if we're having grace, and we're showing love, and we're being patient, and we're allowing space for change. But there comes a point in time, there comes a point in the experience where you have to make the decision. You have to be really clear and authentic with yourself and say, am I really giving them space to change, or am I enabling them to stay who they are? And that's a really big one, I know, right? And this can be anything. This can be a space with your mother, a space with your partner, love, your husband, your wife. This can be an experiential space with a coworker, or, it can be any relationship, okay? And all of those relationships are very unique. So if you could allow yourself the ability to put on brand new lenses when you're experiencing setting boundaries with somebody in your life, that you don't cookie cutter it, and you don't say, well, when I set boundaries, I do this, this, and this, because, that may not work. If it's with your mother, you're setting a boundary, and then, you're setting a boundary with your child. Those are two very different relationships, right? Or a coworker and your best friend, very different relationships. So keep that in mind when you're setting boundaries, that it's not a cookie cutter process, and that you're at the top of the list, and that you allow self-love and self-worth as you're navigating, initiating, and setting those boundaries. Some boundaries are really big boundaries, and some boundaries are smaller. And over time, the other person, right, has the opportunity to respect those boundaries. And if they respect the boundaries, then that means they get to stay in your life. If they respect the boundaries you've set, they respect you. But if they're not respecting the boundaries you've set, then their energetic alignment, their inner, the way they register their own emotions, the way they register their own thoughts, the way they look at life is in a different location than the way you do. Does this make sense to you? So now here's why you got to put on the specific lenses. If you're dealing with your best friend, been friends 20 years, whatever it is, and they're not respecting those boundaries, then you have the opportunity to stand behind the boundaries, hold that alignment, and you have the opportunity to be available if they want to change, but if they're not willing to change, make the choices you need to accordingly. Now that can mean, this is why the cookie cutter thing, you've got to allow an open-minded, fresh set of eyes and a fresh presence, fresh heart space with each experience, with each relationship that you have to set boundaries with. That can mean that certain relationships become less and less in your life. Some people will completely be gone. Yes. Some people, they just won't, they'll be there, but it's almost like a check-in call, every couple of weeks, or like you see them on a holiday and you catch up on where everybody's at and what they're doing. Maybe you send a card for a certain birthday, or they graduate, or they have their baby, or whatever it is. And you acknowledge those really beautiful life spaces, but you're not letting them into all your life spaces like you were. Does that make sense to you? So you don't have to think, oh, if I set a boundary and they cross the line, then I get rid of them completely. It's an option. And in some relationship spaces, that may be the way it has to go. But that's not completely on you. Keep that in mind. They have choices they've made that initiated the space of the boundary needing to be set in the first place, okay? But in some cases, they don't have to be completely removed. You don't have to completely cut the person off and out. There can just be adjustments made where they get less access to you. That's the key, okay? Now, if they are able to maybe change and move into another type of the way they process and the way they respect you, then that's up to you if you allow movement, It can go any way. It can go any way. I've set boundaries before with people and they've changed and healed, and we've moved into altering the boundaries accordingly. And I've set boundaries with people and I thought they changed and I thought they healed, and they didn't. And I had to reestablish the boundaries again. Does that make sense? Okay. So that can come in as well. Another really big space of this with boundaries, if we could revisit this, we started off with this a little bit, but it's important, is to really acknowledge the self-love factor, okay? It will really help you set your boundaries. You deserve to be loved and respected, okay? And here's the big, aha moment for me that really helped me, and this could help you as well. Yeah. Every single experience that I had some role in it showing up, some role to some degree. And the reason I say that is because it's very empowering if you allow it, if it's okay, if it works for you. Doesn't have to. It's the way I work, works for me. It's very empowering for me to remember that I play a role, my mind, the way I think, the way I believe. This plays a role in the experiences I have. And so if somebody comes in to my life and they're not respecting me in the way that I believe I deserve to be respected, they could be an incredibly beautiful person. They could be lovely. They could just, be in their own journey as well. And they could maybe not even intentionally be disrespectful. They may not even see it that way, that I see it. But in some way, I created that experience for them to come in and to be that space to show me how to, and that it's okay to, set a boundary. That they actually are playing a role that is beneficial to me. Now, isn't that a flip of the coin? To be in a space where you're like, this isn't what I planned and I don't like how they're treating me and whatever. But to flip it and say, what's the message here? Is there something I can learn here? Oh, I can. I can learn that I have the ability to say, stop. I have the ability to say, that's not okay. I have the ability to say, no. And I'm okay after I say it. What? Holy cow, are you kidding me? I'm alive still, I'm breathing still, and I actually feel more alive. I feel more empowered. I feel freer. And it isn't even directly related to them. It's in the space of finding me. How beautiful is that? Can you think about it for one moment, please? In these spaces, these experiences with others that feel initially difficult, frustrating, annoying, and maybe even traumatizing for some people, there's a space inside of them, always, every single one of them. I know that can be a big ask. I get it for some of them. Just hang on, take a breath, hold with me here for one moment, please. Inside every experience, there's some message to you from you. Inside every experience, there's some availability for you to go into a more optimal space of you. It's an incredible understanding to anchor, to be able to live as, implement from. And inside of setting boundaries is that message awaits us. So, when I look upon the relationships I've had to set boundaries in, and I will say I've only had a few that I've ever had to set the boundaries in, and they've all been very unique and very different. Some of the people are still in my life, and they're related to me, so that's good. I don't necessarily wish or want to have to go down a path where I push anybody out in that manner. But I acknowledge that that can happen, and that needs to be your own individualized choice, right? No one has the right to tell anybody that's not a good idea. You're the one walking and wearing the shoes, so you make the call. But in all of the spaces, the relationships where I've set the boundaries, they've all brought me a level of clarity, a level of self-love, and a level of self-worth that I was ready to have. I was ready to anchor. I was ready to own. And prior to those experiences, I didn't have that level. I didn't have that space of me. Does that make sense? So something happens to you, and I believe we're all interconnected. So even the other person, if they're able to stay or if they go, it doesn't matter. If it was difficult or if it was traumatizing, the level, the increment doesn't matter. But I believe that when we have these experiential spaces where we have to, or we choose to, set a boundary, and we're able to see or look for and believe in the message that we sent ourselves that was in there somewhere, and we're able to allow it, we're able to engage it, I believe we move into another space of ourselves, if you will, because I believe you're vast. I believe you're vast, and you have this human now, and it is sacred and beautiful and incredible, and it's your experiential, exploratory space, right? It's your reference point of getting to know you and the world around you through this lens. But I believe that you're ever expanding. I'm ever expanding. We're always changing, or we have the opportunity to do so, to grow, to learn. And these spaces, they help us do that. They really do. Don't get me wrong. When I'm inside of them, I'm not going, oh, Where's my message that I wrote myself? I can't wait to read my message to self. I'm navigating the emotions when I'm in them. I'm feeling the frustrations when I'm in them. I'm learning how to breathe through. I'm learning how to remain in my sovereignty. That's a big one. So I'm not saying it's easy peasy, but I'm saying inside these experiences, there are these gems, these jewels available if we'll look and seek and find. And once we do, they're ours forever then. And the energy, the information is ours. And that changes you, that strengthens you. I know I'm hearing a song in my head, and it's not necessarily that I would want this song to be the song that goes with this show exactly, because I'm really big on words and the power of them, the energy they hold. But I'm hearing Kelly Clarkson in my head right now. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I know, right? But I mean, I've had those moments, right? You've had those moments. And it can be as simplistic as you're at a family event, right? I mean, everybody can probably relate to that. And there's just that one space where somebody says something or does something, and you're just like, in a sense, coming out of your skin, or you're uncomfortable, or you just wish you were somewhere else. Or maybe it's work related or whatever. It doesn't matter. You feel the space. And I know that's a big part of the growth of us, as we're having the experiences. We have feelings, we have emotions, we're human body, human being, right? And so a big part of setting boundaries is, I believe, also learning how to navigate the feelings that are coming up as you're having the space that is saying, we've got to set a boundary. And then navigating the feelings that are coming up as you set the boundary, because that can be a really intense space, because the person you're setting the boundary with may not see the boundary coming. And they may think and be on a totally different page than you as to everything's fine or it'll be okay. I always say that. I always do that. They always let me slide. So you navigate the emotions of the moment that says, I have to set a boundary. This is not okay. And then, that space in itself, the surge through the body. Have you ever had that moment? You're in a space with someone and you're having a moment where whatever they're saying or whatever they're doing is not okay. It's not okay, right? And it surges, like when you almost fall. Have you ever had that where you almost fall and like energy actually surges through your body and it's like this jolt and you go, ugh, right? So like that happens when somebody's crossing a line, when somebody's mistreating you, when somebody is disrespecting you, but you can't make that face because you're not falling, right? They're just talking to you, yet you're feeling the energies so intensely in your body as they're telling you whatever they're telling you. So there's the processing of that. There's the processing of the feelings. There's the processing of the judgment that you're placing on what they're saying or doing. And then the process of you maybe judging yourself for judging them. There's like this whole big thing, right? But we have the opportunity. Don't you love that word? We have the opportunity to take that space and use it as a beneficial connection of what are we capable of. So what are you capable of in that moment of intense emotion, of somebody doing, saying, being something out of alignment of what is all right with you? What are you capable of? Well, you have a couple of choices. Many of you, as I myself have done as well, have taken the choice of getting angry, getting upset, yelling, feeding the drama, grabbing a hold of the moment and getting all up in it, coming back at them, retaliation. That's an available option, right? Where does it take you? Where do you go when you do that? You don't really go anywhere, do you? All you do is kind of cycle and spin that same space of drama and trauma, you know? But you have another opportunity. And believe me, I lived in the spin space for a very long time. Like 40 some years of my life, I lived in spin space. I used to call it this. I teach another space called New Human. And we used to call it, we still do, tennis match. So when the person in your life comes at you in a disrespectful way, they're hitting the tennis ball across the court into your space, and you get to decide what you want to do with that. You can walk away. You can grab the ball and stop the game. Or you can hit the ball back and play the game with them. Drama for drama. None of them are wrong, they're just different. And each one of them holds that message we spoke about earlier. They each have a message. They each have a connection point for you that you are bringing you. And this person or these people, however it plays out, that you're having the moment with that needs a boundary, they're playing the role of the delivery of the message. How about that? Wow. Okay. Thank you for delivering the message. Message taken, received. So you deal with the feelings in the moment, or you can deal with the feelings in the moment that you were initially realizing, okay, we've got to set some boundaries. This is not okay. This is not okay. And then you move into the space of dealing with the emotions of setting the boundary. And like I said, there is an elation space, a relief space, a self-love space, because all of a sudden you realized you were strong enough to say no. You were strong enough to say it's not okay. It's not okay. You were strong enough to say I'm done. But then there's that aftermath. And there's nothing wrong with this. It's another space for another message. Just keep holding on to that potential. Okay, we'll use that word because I think that's a good word, right? Potential, opportunity. So you feel the relief and you feel the self-love rise and you feel even your empowerment, because there's an empowerment coming up in you now because you chose to say no, it's not okay. But then you've got to navigate what happens in your life, depending upon the relationship and what kind of relationship it was. This is all different, right? Depending upon the connection. What happens in your life now? What changes because of this decision? You get to navigate those feelings. But you have the opportunity to come in with self-love at every step. And it can get a little, wobbly, because you can second guess yourself. That's totally normal. And sometimes the people that need the most boundaries set, they prey on the wobbles. They hope you wobble. They want you to wobble, because if you wobble enough, they can get back in. And it's okay. You can learn from the wobbles. You can allow and let them back in. And most of the time I do that because I really, really, really want everybody to have as many chances as possible to get into the alignment of love. And we have the opportunity, there's the word again, we have the opportunity to know that it's okay if you wobble and they prove you wrong. They weren't ready. It's okay. Don't judge yourself. Don't go, I cannot believe I let them back in. And they did this again. How many times am I going to let them do this to me? Try, if you can, to remember the self-love more than ever in that moment and release yourself from that type of judgment, okay? And remember that it is because you are so loving and such a kind-hearted being, and you only want the best for everybody, that you wobbled in such a way in which they had another opportunity to allow you to find a deeper space of self-love. See what I did with that? You have that opportunity to always bring it back around to you're taking you right where you need to go. Even when it feels like you've gotten some experience going on around you that you wish to God wasn't happening, because it's not easy. It's annoying, it's difficult, it's frustrating, it's awkward, whatever it is. You're still taking you exactly where you need to go. Can you do that? Can you put that in your back pocket, my mother would say, or under your belt? Terms my mother uses that I still say today. They're lovely. When you need it, you can pull it out from your back pocket, and you can say, oh, wait a minute, this is one of those moments AL was talking about where I have the opportunity, oh yeah, okay, we're going to use that word, to allow myself to find the message and to receive my own love, to put myself on the top of my list, to be okay with saying no, to allow myself to say it's not okay, and to decide what is. No one gets to decide what's okay for you but you. There may be a lot of opinions, including my own. They never have to be yours. They should be, if anything, in my humble opinion, additional spaces of understanding. If they fit you and they resonate for you, allow, implement, lean in. But always, 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 please, if you leave with nothing else, leave with this thought, please. Always trust you. Always trust yourself, your inner knowing, your gut. You're moving right now in your own understanding of who you are, in your belief of who you are. You're moving into a new space of you. If you found my channel, if you found me, if you made it this far through this podcast space, you're moving into a new space of you. And you designed this to be the message, the note to self for you today. So trust yourself. Put yourself on the top of your list. Some spaces are a lot murkier, I understand. They're a lot more difficult to just ABC, cross off this point, that point. Okay, I did this, this, and this. Now I just keep going. I get it. There's so many different ways this can go, depending upon who, what. Trust it's all going the way you need it to. It will help it move in that direction. You are a powerful being. You really are. And as you allow these spaces of you, your focus, as you think about them, you listen to me say these words and you think, I'm a powerful being. You can have a question type of cadence or phrase there, right? But the more you say it, that can change from I am a powerful being to I am a powerful being. You're walking yourself there. Some of you may already be there. Whatever relationships you're navigating right now, and it can, do you know what? We're gonna close in a minute here. Let me add this in real fast, okay? It can be that you're needing to set a boundary with yourself. What? Is this lady crazy? It can be that you're having a repetitive thought, like, I'm not enough. It can be that you're having a repetitive thought, like, I always screw it up. You can set a boundary with your thought. Have you ever thought of that before? You can zone in on that space, that program, that belief, and you can say, wait a minute, that's not okay. Stop. I'm not okay with that. And you can take that thought and you can say, we're no longer aligning with that timeline or that belief. We're no longer playing that song or that tune. And you can allow yourself, love yourself into a new alignment of you. So I lay this at your feet. I would love to hear from you. If you'd like to share any comments, please do so. You can reach out via the space here. Leave a comment below. There's also some information in the description. We would love to have you check it out. If you have any type of questions, comments that you'd like to share, and maybe even here on the podcast, we could connect in and talk about them. I believe we have a way in which you can share them with us, and we can bring that into the space as well. So this is a brand new space for me, and you can let it be a brand new space for you. And together, we can move forward and allow our greatest and highest good. I'll see you on the next one. Blessings.